everybody, it's time for another J9’s Patio Chat check-in. I hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday evening. Coming to you a little later in the evening, I had a chance to see my friend Darren today, so that was lovely after work. Hadn't seen him for a while, so nice to catch up with him. And I'm going to talk a little bit later about a symposium that I took part in today, which was excellent, in fact, and I learned some new things. I always learn new things because it was from folks in the community and folks on the front line. So that's where I learned the most, in fact. So before I do that, though, before I talk about that, I'll get to my birthdays. So I have 3. It is Tina Vigno Halloran's birthday, and Tina and I went to high school together. She was a year behind me, and Tina still looks like she's in high school. The woman has not aged a bit, and she has children and she has grandchildren, which shocks me. And again, not, that's fine, except wow, look at her. She looks she looks like she just stepped out of her 1991. I graduated in 91, she graduated in 92. Anyway, Tina, I hope you had a wonderful birthday with your family. It is Sophie's birthday, and she is 21 years old, and I know her mom, Kim Whitty, lovely woman. We went to high school together as well. So these are 2 Cape Bretoners, and I know Kim was talking about, I know she's remarking on having a 21-year-old daughter, but Kim also looks, I've got some friends that, let me tell you, do not age. That's what happens. And I feel like a lot of it is Cape Breton genes because, in fact, all of the people from my list today, well, they're not, the third person isn't from Cape Breton. I don't know if he is, but his mom is. So my third birthday is Josh, and he's 16 years old, and his mom is Lisa, and I met Lisa through my friend Charlotte, who I graduated from high school with, and I also talked about her sister Angela, who had a birthday the other day. So they're from home, and I know Lisa is, but I don't know if her son was born in Cape Breton or if he was born in Halifax. So either way, Josh is 16 today, and I hope he is having a wonderful birthday. Another thing I want to note today in history that's important, particularly for Cape Bretoners, is on February 24th, 1979, in number 26 Colliery, there was a mine disaster and 12 men lost their lives. So I had seen that being recognized by a lot of Cape Bretoners today. So I wanted to acknowledge that as well. So besides that, I also wanted to talk a little bit about the symposium I attended today. It was a harm reduction symposium that was hosted by Avenue B, which is an organization in St. John, New Brunswick. And I've unfortunately never been able to attend in person, but because it was virtual this year, I was able to attend. And it was composed of folks that are working in harm reduction in New Brunswick, but also folks from Ontario presented as well. And there were people that attended from all over. And I have heard, and I've talked about on the patio chat, about how certain populations have been disproportionately affected by COVID-19. People who use drugs are definitely part of that population, and people who are precariously housed or insecurely housed or not housed at all are part of that population as well. And so just hearing the stories today about the impacts of COVID-19 on folks yet again reminds me, as a privileged white woman living in downtown Halifax, how lucky I am to be able to, despite the fact that like many of us, I experienced challenges with COVID and living on my own, feeling lonely, having, not the greatest day here and there. But it is humbling to hear other experiences. And a couple of the things that I wanted to highlight that I heard today, like I said, I've talked about some of these things before. I've talked about the fact that when COVID-19 hit, the supply of drugs through the border was stopped, and so a lot of folks are using drugs that they don't know where they're coming from. There are a lot of drugs that are tainted with fentanyl and other unsafe drugs, so folks that are buying drugs on the street can't trust those drugs necessarily. And because of intense stigma and discrimination, people might say, well, why aren't they just buying, can't they just buy drugs the regular way? Well, some of the drugs they're using are illegal, so no, they can't. And even if they are using legal drugs, maybe they don't feel safe to purchase them. And one of the things that really struck me today that one of the folks shared about working with folks in the community was that when they're trying to make contact with new people, so people who use drugs that are in the community and they're coming to a service, coming to a needle exchange or a service in the community, and it's COVID times, right? And everything is getting sanitized. So organizations, like most organizations that are open, they are sanitizing everything. So they're sanitizing, they're spraying everything down, and anytime you pick up anything or somebody else comes in, they're sanitizing. So people who are already feeling less than, and people who are already not feeling accepted by society, imagine what it must feel like then when you are told, you know, you need to step back, you need to step away, because you're already told that all the time. You're already not wanted everywhere you go. And now you're being told that. And you're also watching people constantly clean behind you. And so one of the short stories that were shared today was about how for newer folks not sort of familiar with the organization and not realizing that they were doing this for everybody, some of the folks coming for services were thinking that they were being judged and that they were being seen as unclean. And so it just goes to show that, and I know we already know this, but just to acknowledge the long-term impacts of COVID-19 that they can have. So for people that are already feeling on the margins of society, imagine how they feel. People that don't have a home and they're being told that they need to go home and wash their hands and stay, you know, sanitized. They don't have sanitizer. They don't have a home. They don't have a bathroom that they can go to. They, people who are using, and what they've been told to be safe is to use in groups, to use with people they know. And now they're being told that they have to distance. So, you know, mixed messaging. One of the things that was also shared is that during the early days when they weren't able to get sanitizers, individual sanitizers for folks, they were actually giving out baggies of sanitizer. And again, they knew that wasn't a perfect solution, but it was all they could do at that time because sanitizers were really hard to get. So just again, to illustrate that COVID-19 is a hard time for everyone, but it does impact certain populations disproportionately. And I just think it's important for us all to recognize that. On a more positive note, I did go down to the waterfront today and take a walk. My lovely friend, Teresa Palser, sent me a message and let me know that folks from the Mi'kmaq Native Friendship Center here in Halifax were doing a pop-up drumming, and they did it under the wave at down on the waterfront. So it was beautiful. I always love to hear people drumming. So Teresa's daughter was there drumming, and some other folks from the Friendship Center, including Elder Debbie. And it was just wonderful. It actually was exactly what I needed, especially after yesterday. I was still carrying a lot of things I was thinking about yesterday. So thank you so much, Teresa, for letting me know. It was wonderful to experience that. And I'll let folks here know in Halifax that the Mi'kmaq Native Friendship Center has a Facebook page, and they are planning on doing pop-up drummings around the city. And I think they may be going over to Dartmouth as well. So certainly keep an eye on that. They were very diligent. They were very well distanced, and they were encouraging people in the crowd to be distanced. So they were very good about that. And folks were very respectful, which is good. So yeah, I highly recommend that you take it in if you get a chance. So it feels like Thursday to me, which is weird, but it's not. 2 more days, 2 more work days. So I hope you had a good day. Take good care of yourselves. Take good care of others. I'll check in with you tomorrow. Bye.